Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we are currently still running a small deficit. It's okay for the moment. We definitely want to come out of this deficit fairly soon though. So we'll work on that, but I wanted to check real quick on our institutions here. Right, we're taking that up to level 5. I just couldn't remember whether that was actually happening or not and wanted to double check that. Now technically we could do this. It would get more radicals and lose us some loyalists for 4 legitimacy. I don't think it's worth it, so we're going to hold off on that for the moment. We're going to finish up our colonizations over here. That looks good. Excellent. Does that give us any additional gold mines? The answer is no. We're not shocked about that necessarily. I do want to check on these gold mines here. Okay, we're making like 500. That's not too bad. Kind of funny that the weekly balance is negative here. It's just due to the price of tools. Fair enough. We're working on that. We are working on that. So we're going to be getting this railway in North Dakota done. That'll be fine. I want to check in and make sure that everything is set to auto-expand. Not that we're actually auto-expanding at this moment. Gold mines are not, but, I mean, we're going to manually build those as soon as we can, no matter what. We should definitely set railways to auto-expand. There we go. Cool. So we're going to get our railway in North Dakota done. We are still running a transportation input goods shortage. Wood, paper, iron, and tools are all still expensive, which does mean that we should, at the very least, finish our, or rather build another iron mine. So that goes in New York, I believe. Yes, indeed it does. We'll get that queued up. Cool. So wood, paper, iron, tools. Now, we did just finish our logging camp here, but it looks like that has, in fact, already filled up, and the price of wood is still pretty expensive, so let's go ahead and get another logging camp going as well. So this railway can be brought up to the top priority, but otherwise this looks good. So logging, iron, tooling. We did just finish up that paper mill. How is that doing with the price? Okay. So we've got our paper mills in New Jersey here. Yeah, that definitely does need to be expanded again, but that is a somewhat low priority. We're going to put that down below the tooling workshops, and in fact, below the railway in American Nebraska for right now. That'll do just fine. Excellent. So this is looking good. Actually, paper is no longer considered expensive. We're still going to build that. Actually, no, I'm going to cancel it. If that's no longer expensive, then that looks good. I just didn't quite give it... So wood, iron, tools, and transportation. That's what we're looking for here. We're looking to come back positive on our finances. We don't want our interest payments to get too high, right? So there's additional wood production. We'll keep an eye on that wood price. Okay, so the Sioux have launched a native uprising against us. This is unsurprising. Colonization of Minnesota has completed. The former colony is now a proper state. Same with North Dakota. I don't think that's actually true. That's because we're fighting against the Sioux here. Now, what do the Sioux actually have? They have 5 battalions. So let's go ahead and mobilize this guy to advance the front in the New York-Wyoming front. And Zachary Taylor will mobilize as well to also advance that front. So we're going to head out over there. Cool. So that has put a hold on all of our colonization in this area. We don't love that, but it is what it is. We're going to take a look here. Wood, iron, and tools are all still considered expensive. So I'm guessing that we need additional of all of that. Yes, we do. So we're going to get ourselves an additional iron mine. That's actually still queued up in New York, but I think we're going to need a second. So we'll get that going. We'll get a new logging camp in Pennsylvania, wasn't it? Yes, Pennsylvania. And then for the last location, we're of course going to need a tooling workshop, and that just goes in New York. Okay, so all of that gets brought up. The railway in American South Dakota comes up. And otherwise, this looks decent, but we're going to swap those 2 iron mines. Cool. So that'll be fine. And we're currently at a plus 10 advantage here. But let's go ahead and bump up our military because we did bring these down. So we're going to go to skirmish infantry, mobile artillery, and I think that was all we can do at this point, correct? Correct. So that's going to mean that small arms are expensive, which means that we should start working on that construction. So we'll build an arms industry for economy of scale. It could be in Virginia or in New York. There's way more peasants in New York, so we'll build it there. Okay, looks good. Looks really, really good. A scandal in DC, huh? A notorious male brothel. Okay. Who is this? This is the evangelical leader. Of course it is. Okay. So he must resign, or we could try to bury it. Minus 20 legitimacy, or nothing happens. Let's just have him resign. I don't care about this guy. He can just, apparently he just died. Okay. Well, sure. So we're at negative 17 right now. And we definitely do want to bring up our military wages, right? So we'll do that. Bring this up to... Okay. We may want to start activating some conscripts as well. So we'll activate conscripts. What can these guys command? Like, how many units can each of these command? $40 conscripts each. Okay, so that's good to know. We'll activate some conscripts from Alabama and Georgia. And then 18 each would be ideal. But here's a 40 from Pennsylvania. So there we go. We'll get those activated. We need to throw more at this, obviously. So that will slowly trickle on in, right? And that'll be fine. Are we short on artillery? Ammunition. Okay. So we should definitely work on a munition plant. We have one in New York. Okay, we'll build that there. So that'll go just fine. All the rest of this is underway. We don't want to build too many arms and munition plants for right now. But this should do the trick. We do have 9 battalions in reserve currently. Those are from the Dixie HQ. So I'm going to recruit this guy, and he is going to mobilize and head on over to the Wyoming front. The New York Wyoming front, which is an interesting way to name that, but sure. We're not shocked that the Sioux have risen up, for the record. This is not at all surprising. So we're going to win this war, and that's only a matter of time. Gold has been discovered in Colorado. So we have a gold field here. Okay, that's nice. And war with the Great Sioux Nation has broken out. That's not surprising. We're going to easily win this war. The atmospheric engine was successfully completed. Okay. So, what does that actually give us? Coal, iron, lead, sulfur mine building throughput. For 5 years. Honestly, we'll go for water tube boiler. So does that give us the tech? That would be under rural. Atmospheric engine pump, atmospheric engine pump. Okay, we could definitely go to the atmospheric engine pump in our gold mine. The rest of them are already on it. Beautiful. Okay, so that's looking good. Speaking of looking good, this battle. We don't expect to lose this under any circumstances. This war will be a victory for us very easily. So that'll be fine. We are continuing to construct here, and our railway in American Nebraska does still become a priority here until we no longer see a transportation input goods shortage. Ammunition is expensive. Wood, iron, and tools are all still considered expensive. So we're going to finish up the constructions that we have queued here before we really consider queuing up anything else. I think this will be fine. Let's wrap up this war before we queue anything else up. A good vintage, huh? We're going to get additional wine throughput. Looks good. So our battle over here is proceeding nicely. We fully expect this. We may lose a little bit of population due to this, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Okay. Law enforcement has gone up to level 4. That's good. We definitely see that radicalism being a thing. Hydraulic cranes have been unlocked. Cool. So we have a 98% advantage, right? We knew that this was going to be the case when we started mobilization. Shell gun is now spreading. Sure. We're probably going to want to rely a little bit more on our professional army later on, but for now I think having a conscript army is reasonably fine. So let's wrap up this war. And our GDP has now risen above the start of the game. That's a good sign. Canneries have been unlocked. So that leads to mechanized workshops, but also unlocks canneries for food industries. Do we have any food industries? We actually do. So we can put in canneries here. I love it. Let's do that. We've got an input goods shortage of ammunition. We are working on that. And this is unproductive. Okay. The war is basically over. We don't care about the shortage of ammunition that much, especially with this munition plant. And it looks like we've just got this one little location left. So that's looking good. There's some devastation out over here, but that's to be expected. And we're going to finish up some railways soon enough. Cool. How is that input goods shortage of transportation looking anyway? That wasn't what I wanted. Man o' Wars? No, hang on. This makes more sense. Okay. Yeah, we definitely need more transportation. No doubt about that one. So at this point, we want to annex them. Cool. There we go. So the Sioux Nation is now entirely ours. We want to immediately max out these gold mines. Is there anything else over here that we want immediately? For now, that seems okay. And we should go back to colonization here. Yes, indeed we are. Beautiful. And now we're quite positive in our finances. That's a really good sign, actually. So, tools, wood, and iron, huh? Okay, I still want to be prioritizing one of these railways. And let's go ahead and get more tools, wood, and iron online. So, in New York, another iron mine. Another logging camp in Pennsylvania, and another tooling workshop in New York. All of those are relatively high priority, but these gold mines are a higher priority, as is this railway. So we get all of that done, then we get these done. For the moment, I'm okay with running a surplus here. We'll spend down our credit for a while and let that interest go down. That'll be good. Our military wages can also be dropped at this time. So we'll go ahead and do that. Realism has been unlocked. Cool. The Clay Proviso. Okay. Henry Clay has proposed outright prohibiting slavery in all of our new Western territories. The Southern planters would be upset. We're kind of, going down that road, aren't we? They're not in our government. The intelligentsia are in our government. Done. What could possibly go wrong? We've got an election in 150 days. We'll see how that goes. Surely Andrew Jackson's term limit's coming up, right? Does this game have term limits? I don't know if it does. Well, actually, the US didn't have term limits at this time period, so. Nitroglycerin has been unlocked. Cool. That leads to dynamite, and we want to immediately make our way down to dynamite. Nitroglycerin is actually bad because it increases mortality by a lot, and dynamite, not so much. So we're going to go immediately down to dynamite, and we're going to skip nitroglycerin. Cool. So we're going to continue our colonization out over this way, of course. and continue this colonization over here. Overly enthusiastic partisans, huh? The Whigs are harassing and sometimes physically attacking opposing partisans. We'll crack down on it. The Ripper is in New York, huh? Well, we'll try to bring him to justice. Okay. We'll see if that ends up happening. Cool. So our gold mines are going to finish up in about 2 weeks, right? Well, some of them in about 2 weeks. We definitely need to expand our construction sector. We're building kind of slowly. I wouldn't mind getting down to steel frame buildings. That would be a big boon, for sure. That would roughly double our construction. But for now, raising concerns, huh? The intelligentsia are upset. We'll address their concerns. Our railway in Kansas just finished up. Or is about to finish up. There we go. Now we'll move the railway in Arkansas up to top priority. Because we still have that transportation input goods shortage. Our government legitimacy is currently low, but if we were to do this, it would be very, very high. Let's go ahead and do that. We maybe should have done that after the election. But we'll see. Inefficient agriculture. Yeah, migration attraction sounds great. So we'll do that. These gold mines will be finishing up in about 11 weeks in total. Cool. So that's definitely looking good. And we're slowly working our way through all these railways. Very slowly. Gold has been discovered in Colorado. Cool. Can we build gold mines? Not currently. Okay. Noted. So we're up to about 18.9k. I'm still interested in paying down our debt that we built up while we were deficit spending. There's this gold rush, of course, and 125% migration attraction sounds amazing. There we go. So we're at 16.2 million population right now. We can definitely bring that up, and our GDP is not exactly skyrocketing right now, but it is improving. That's looking good. We still have that transportation input goods shortage, and we're still short on tools, wood, and iron. The Progressive Party just won. So this is the best government reform we can do for now. Putting us back to where we were before we did the previous one. The previous one was probably unnecessary, and I should have waited until after the election, I think. Ah, the dream in Colorado, huh? People are beginning to live beyond their means, convinced they'll all become rich soon enough. Well, all that is gold does not glitter. Okay, we actually caught the Ripper, looks like. Beautiful, he's been arrested. Plus 10% authority. I like it. Ah, the fugitive slave. Okay, Kenner Schuyler, huh? Once again, the Southern planters aren't part of our government. Free soil makes anyone free. Beautiful. What could... Okay, so this is looking good, right? We're going to continue colonization out over here. Eventually, we're going to want to go after, like, the Hudson Bay Company, Upper Canada, Lower Canada, these guys up here. These are all British subjects. And that will bring us into conflict with the British, most likely. Okay. Let the party never end. New York is very happy. We like it. So we're getting additional loyalists. That's always good. Let's check in on our constructions here. So we have we have a tooling workshop and an iron mine being worked on, but 2 railways as well. We have an engines input goods shortage. That needs to be addressed. So we definitely need to boost up our motor industry in Ohio. There we go. Otherwise, tools, wood, and iron are still expensive. We should probably consider queuing up another logging camp. And this, of course, goes in Pennsylvania. In terms of priority, that would go down to here. And then the railway in Missouri becomes the top. Like that. Yeah, that looks good there. We are, of course, working our way through this credit, and that's looking good. Our interest payments are going down. Wow, look at that. That's kind of wild there. Sure. We definitely need to get that motor industry done, and we need to get through all of these level 1 railways. But they're back burner sort of work, right? They're mostly being used... Okay, American Colorado, we actually need to queue up that railway, much higher priority there. So that gets queued up. There we go. Because our market access there is low. So that needs to be dealt with. After all, we have gold fields there. Cool. So our tooling workshop in New York is going to finish up in a week. Our motor industry in 15. But that market access does take a very high priority here. And there are some locations that we don't have any level of railway in at this point. So these are all size 1, right? 0+1, Montana 0+1, 0+1. American Colorado did have one queued up. We actually need to cancel the one over here. Cool. So that'll be fine. Wyoming has been completed. We do have a railway queued up there. Do we need to integrate any of these? We do. So let's get all of that underway. That puts us negative in our bureaucracy, which is unsurprising. So our government administrations produce 50 bureaucracy each. We do need to produce 3 of these in total. So we'll sort by peasant number. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So those are high priority to get those done, right? Because we're going to be running quite a lot of tax waste here. Are we pulling from our investment pool? No, we're not. Okay, so this money is going to go into this construction once that's done. And we're still making money at this moment, so I like it. Yeah, this looks fantastic. Our GDP is coming up. It's not tremendously swift, but it'll get there. We will definitely become... I think we'll become the #1 GDP in the world by the end of this game. I'm fairly confident in that. The Indian removal is continuing. Some holdouts are refusing to leave their homes, and many are poorly equipped for this journey. We can offer them additional assistance, and that's fine. That does put us slightly negative in our income, but that's for a very temporary amount of time, right? We're going to finish up our government administrations in 7 weeks. We're actually back to being positive. We may need to get a 4th government administration queued up. That would go in, like, Indiana, or even in, like, Illinois. I'm going to do it, but we're going to move down its priority to be down below... I did that wrong. The motor industry comes up. The government administration goes here. There we go. Cool. The railway in American Colorado should be moved up in terms... Cool, so that looks great. We are pulling a little bit from our investment pool, but we've built up a decent chunk in our investment pool in this time, so I like it. That's looking good. 2 government administrations are going to be finishing up this week, and that will take the edge off of this tax waste. And then another one will be finishing in 4 weeks after that. A railway finishing up in 4 weeks, another railway in 8 weeks, our motor industry in 12. And then that iron mine back behind that. Yeah, this will be fine. This won't be a problem. We actually have a huge surplus right now, but that's only going to last about 10 weeks here as we get that investment pool paid down. So this is going to eat up our credit pretty quickly, and we like that. That's very, very good. That does mean that we'll not be paying that interest for too much longer. Yeah, that looks great. So this government administration here is likely going to be necessary eventually, but we do want to get this all finished up first. Looking in at this here, we still have that engines input goods shortage. We are working on that. Wood and iron are currently expensive. Tools are not. We just finished up that iron mine. Market access in South Carolina has dropped. Okay, so we need our South Carolina Railroad to be moved up. There we go. And there's American Colorado's railroad finishing. So this should improve. Let's see. Lead is currently unproductive, so we'll get rid of that. Looks good. American Colorado is getting a lot better. Yep, there we go, 100%. And we're constructing in South Carolina. We're working on our motor industries. We're working on our logging camps. Is iron still expensive? It is. So we should probably queue up an additional iron mine and likely an additional logging camp, I think. Okay, Kansas is now ready to be integrated. There we go. That does put us slightly negative in our bureaucracy. We aren't shocked about that. We're working on this government administration for that. So that'll be done in about 12 weeks, and we're out of the investment pool. That's looking good. Yep, that looks fantastic. So our railway in South Carolina is finishing up. Wood, iron, Pennsylvania, huh? That's a little bit unsurprising. I'm a little shocked it took this long, actually. So we'll get the railway in Pennsylvania building. Bleeding Nebraska, huh? Okay. Abolitionists and proponents of slavery have been pouring into Nebraska, hoping to shape the territory's government to their liking. So, I mean, this is not tremendously Andrew Jackson, but it must be a free state. Cool. And the reason we're going for that is, again, because the Southern planters are not in our government. That's what we're going for there. If they were part of our government, then sure, we'd go for it. Okay, so we definitely know that we need additional wood, iron, and now tools again. So we'll definitely put in an additional iron mine. We'll put in an additional logging camp and an additional tooling workshop. All of that is to make our constructions less expensive, right? Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and the government administration are all higher priority than getting these done. But there we go. We're definitely working through this construction queue, but very, very slowly. It is, however, time now to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue working on... Actually, we no longer have a transportation input goods shortage. That's a good sign, but we're still going to work on our railroads. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadowwolf, Mlohan80, Kentogan, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Spartan News, Unisol, Rogue Corvid, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.